we must stand and fight for our neighbors. We must fight for those who cannot fight for themselves at this moment. We must not stand by while ICE is murdering people in our streets. What do we do when we're under attack? What do we do when we're under attack? What do we do when we are under attack? Stand up, fight back! 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 Stand up, fight back!
Showing you this crowd right now. You have a better perspective on it than I do because John's able to lift that camera up over the crowd. I can't see the edge of this crowd right now. It is hundreds, if not thousands, outside of the canopy by Hilton to make their voices heard. Call for an end to murder of their neighbors.
Tonight, we are out here to cause problems for the hotels that are collaborating with ICE. And I'll say it again. When we do this, it works. We get these agents out of these hotels. Something else that is important to say tonight. We are out here in an act of mass non-cooperation. And mass non-cooperation works. When we engage in mass non-cooperation, we show how powerful we are. And what's important to remember tonight is that this disruptive action is also peaceful. We are a non-violent, peaceful group tonight. Why are we non-violent? We don't need to counter their violence to have power. We have power because of the numbers that we have. Look around. Look around. This is our power. Look around. Make eye contact. Make eye contact with someone in the crowd right now. Look around. Make eye contact with a stranger. These are your neighbors. These are your comrades, and these are the people. Why? This is why we're powerful. This is why we're powerful. So tonight, we'll be peaceful, we're going to be non-violent, and we're going to cause a fucking problem! And we're going to do, what do we want? Now. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Now. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Now. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Now. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Now. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Now. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Now. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Now. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Now. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Now. When do we want it?
I want to take this moment to call out the fact that the cameras you're seeing here through our camera are largely independent journalists or just people here in the crowd. There were a lot of national outlets, a lot of corporate media that parachuted in here the day that Renee Good was killed. We've been on the ground here for weeks, since the beginning of December, to tell the story of what is happening here in the Twin Cities. This important on-the-ground journalism, lifting up the voices of these people, this loud majority of people who are out here to express their anger at the Trump administration for killing, victimizing their neighbors, is not something that you will see on corporate media, or if you will, it'll be a 12-second soundbite. We're going to be live out here for hours. The importance of supporting independent media in this time is absolute. It's the only way that we can get a truly independent voice, a people-centered voice in what is happening. I can't thank enough, we can't thank enough here at Status Quo, the work of the Midas Touch Network in lifting up not only our outlet, but also the voices of all of these people that you see around here tonight. I worked in corporate news for a while. I worked as a corporate local journalist. And I can tell you right now what the coverage of this event will look like on the evening news tonight. It'll be 45 seconds. It'll be an anchor just reading over that there were some people who made noise outside of a Hilton. It'll feature one soundbite from somebody in this crowd, and it'll feature one soundbite from someone who says that they didn't like the noise, or it'll feature a quick blurb, some of the Trump administration's propaganda to make it, quote unquote, both sides, as if these hundreds and thousands of voices are in any way equal to just what one person in the White House has to say. As if to suggest that is a bit, that this, what is happening here, is a 50-50 position. I hope it comes across through the camera. The power of this collective group of voices are expressing right now the energy that is in the air. And not only do we try and center the voices of people and people-powered movements here at Status Quo, we don't take corporate funding. None. We are sustained thanks to individual donations. It's individual people giving us a few dollars here, a few dollars there, $5 a month to sustain the efforts.
I am in no way affiliated with this Status Quo retard group. I'm just covering their live coverage.
We are able to do with that people-built power. So, because we are only beholden to you, our audience, you know that these voices that we're tonight, what I'm saying on this microphone has nothing to do with what any advertiser wants me to say or deems acceptable. You see here a march now forming of these protesters, led by that pickup truck. Where we saw those speakers speaking off of the back of just a few moments ago. And we're now moving with this crowd as they take to the streets in downtown Minneapolis. I'm moving up here to the front of this group so you can look back and again see the totality of this movement as they chant "Fuck ICE." You're fully good. Nobody behind you. I'm just taking a moment here to ensure my cameraman is safe since he has to do everything I'm doing, except he's also monitoring a camera and walking backwards while doing it. You see here a march now forming of. You see here a march now forming of these protesters, led by that pickup truck. Led by that pickup truck where we saw those speakers speaking off of the back of just a few moments ago. And we're now moving with this crowd as they take to the streets in downtown Minneapolis. I'm moving up here to the front of this group so you can look back and again see the totality of this movement as they chant, "Fuck ICE." You're fully good. Nobody behind you. I'm just taking a moment here to ensure my cameraman is safe since he has to do everything I'm doing, except he's also monitoring a camera and walking backwards while doing it. I'm a reporter. Would you mind if I ask you about the message you came here to deliver tonight? Yeah. All right. What's your name? What can I call you? L? All right. I am standing here with L. L, I wanted to ask you about the message you came here to deliver tonight. The Trump administration has tried to frame these movements as the movement of rioters, inherently violent. I mean, I think we can just look around. We don't see any violence happening here tonight. Set the record straight. What's the message you came to deliver?
The message I came here to deliver is that we have a right to exercise our right to protest when we see injustice happening somewhere. If we know that injustice is happening somewhere, nobody is safe, and it's very important for us to make sure that we understand that if it's us now, it could be you tomorrow. So make sure to know that.
We're seeing fireworks going off behind us here as this crowd continues to march. So that's your message.
My message is, if this is happening to us today, this could happen to anybody tomorrow. When you want to stand up for something, you get labeled as all of these horrible, horrific things. It's our right to say these things. It's our right to protest. It's our right to stand up to injustice.
Right to stand up to injustice. Let's talk about justice. What would justice look like for the Twin Cities? I don't think this community can ever be made completely whole after one of its members was killed by the federal government. But what steps would you like to see taken to try and see some accountability, some justice be carried out here for the Twin Cities?
Renee's killer needs to be locked up. We need ICE to get out of Minnesota, and we need the entire government to realize that these horrors that are happening is completely unacceptable. Everybody who is taking part and standing by while this is happening needs to be held accountable. They need to be held accountable by any means necessary. They need to be held accountable. They need to go to jail. If they need to be locked up, put on trial. What we're seeing right now is a repeat of history. It's unacceptable.
A repeat of history. So looking to history as a guide, where do you see this country going right now? And is there a way to avoid that future?
We can avoid it. Where I see the bus going right now
is I feel like we are going in a very dark direction. Like back in the day when many wars were happening, when people were being persecuted just for who they are, being racially profiled. So for us to move forward, we need for all of us to come together as a community, not right or left, not conservative, liberal, but as one America to understand that this is wrong and that we can reach peace through collective understanding that what's happening is just not okay.
So, Al, the Trump administration just announced that it's going to send 1,000 more agents on top of the 2,000 it's already sending here to the Twin Cities area. What's the message that you feel like the Trump administration is sending to you and your neighbors here by sending those more agents?
He wants us to be afraid, but Minnesota is not afraid. We care about our neighbors. So if he wants to send his officers, it's only going to escalate. Minneapolis is a smaller city in comparison to cities like Chicago or New York. Sending 3,000, that's an agitation move. He wants to agitate us. He wants us to burn the city down. We're not going to do that. We're not doing that.
We've talked a lot about the Trump administration so far. Republican administration, Republicans control all branches of government right now. Do you feel like the opposition party, the Democrats, are doing enough to fight back in this moment?
No, I think that they could be doing more. Tweets, thoughts, and prayers, that's not going to help. It's just not helping us. We need actual, real, actionable change. We need people to wake up and do something. No more words. No more words. We need action. We need real change, real action.
Action. Would you be willing to support a general strike if it came to that?
If we need a general strike, absolutely I would support it because we are, again, one America. Everybody needs to stand with each other. Again, right or left, it doesn't matter. We need to be unified as a country to understand that what's wrong is wrong. You can't have somebody tell you that what you saw with your own eyes as a video was incorrect. That is cognitive dissonance. You are believing in something while your heart is telling you one thing, and your eyes see something, and somebody's telling you something another. Absolutely not. I have to get back to my friend. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for your time. Another voice.
Justice for! Justice for!
Status quo. We're online, independent, progressive. Yeah. I got questions.
Yeah.
What are your names? My name's Zach. What is it? Zach.
Lauren.
Zach and Lauren. Got it. My name's JT. This is my cameraman, John. All right. I'm standing here with Zach and Lauren. So, Zach, Lauren, first of all, can I get you guys to just spell your names for me really quick?
Z-A-C-H.
Lauren.
Thank you. What made you feel compelled to be out here tonight? Why was tonight the night you wanted to make your voices heard?
We live in South Minneapolis. This is our community. These are our neighbors. I work with people who are at risk. This was bound to happen in this city. ICE has been here for 38 fucking days. It was only a matter of time. But that's what brought us out here tonight.
Yeah, and really quick before you answer, Zach, what I want to underline what Lauren said is it was only a matter of time. That is a sentiment that we heard from people in the leading up to the shooting. This is not looking back after the fact with 2020 hindsight vision being like, oh, well, it was inevitable looking back. No, people at the time, not only here in Minneapolis, but in other cities that we have covered, like Chicago, where 2 people were shot, 1 killed by immigration agents in that city. We're saying in the weeks leading up to those shootings that they felt like the presence of federal agents in their communities was not making them safer. It was making them more dangerous, that it was only going to lead to violence because these agents have demonstrated that they are very good at escalating situations, not so good at de-escalating them. Zach, why did you want to be out here tonight?
I would echo the same reasons that Lauren said. I'm also a criminal defense attorney in Wisconsin, and a criminal defense attorney in Wisconsin. I have a lot of undocumented clients, and I mean, I'm just getting to a point where, I mean, obviously 2020 was different, but it's a lot of the same feelings that I have now. But I feel. It just feels like there is a divide in this country that is unhealable, almost. There's no like legally, there is no justification. If anyone who wasn't in a law enforcement position acted in the same way that he acted, it would be the quickest first-degree intentional homicide trial I've seen in a while. Maybe you get down to second if you get a lucky jury, but if we're being completely honest, every slow-motion video shows the exact same thing. It shows that there is no justification for legal force. Regardless of how dog shit the policies are, and we know that they're used for excuses to get law enforcement out of the shit they do anyways, the policies that are already in place do not justify what happened, as horrible as they already are written to allow law enforcement to keep abusing our communities, regardless. So I'm just getting to a point where it just feels a lot. I feel hopeless, but hopeful at the same time.
Hopeless and hopeful. As somebody who works in criminal justice, I'm assuming hopeful for justice at some point. I want to ask both of you, as someone who works in the justice system as it currently exists, and as somebody who lives in this community.
Yeah, I work in community mental health.
Exactly.
We both work with people who are constantly being targeted by state-sanctioned violence, and we're expected to proceed as normal. And the fact of the matter is it's not safe for them to be out here tonight, so someone fucking has to.
I want to ask you both, what would justice for Minneapolis look like? What do you want to see happen? Obviously.
Be actively barring ICE from entering the city. Law enforcement claims to not be cooperating. We've seen them cooperating with ICE. So to me, ICE out of the city is the answer.
ICE out of the city. Let's talk about what ICE out of the city might look like. The Trump administration is spending billions of dollars right now on immigration enforcement. ICE is more well-funded than a lot of countries' militaries. What could the federal government spend its money on that would actually benefit you, benefit people in your lives? Maybe a better way of answering this question is, what are the problems you are currently facing in your lives, or your families are facing, or your friends are facing, that the federal government could address but isn't?
All of my clients, and even me, I'm far more privileged than any of my clients ever are. I have the resources to support myself, but I see the same problems every single time. It's housing, it's healthcare, and it's housing and healthcare. those two things are never being addressed. We have Band-Aid solutions being brought up time and time again. Obamacare got extended again for 3 years, or will seemingly be. That's not enough. Yes, I don't know where I would be. I probably wouldn't be here without Obamacare. And that was the most Band-Aid solution we've had in 50, 60 years since the establishment of Medicare to begin with. Politicians, once again, need to stop running on these shitty solutions and actually address the root causes of why crime exists, why we have homelessness, and the fact that I shouldn't have to fucking wait a month because I missed a day of a deadline for insurance. Who the fuck thought of that system? Why are we here? Why? There's no good reason other than profit. That's the only reason.
Lauren, what about you?
It takes over multiple years to get housed in this city if you are in chemical health treatment at this time. There has been constant cuts on housing. We have to fight tooth and nail to get our clients housed. Half the time it doesn't last. We have no system of healthcare in this country for mental health care. We have providers who are overworked and underpaid. We have mental health workers who are actively being pushed to the absolute brink because there are no resources. And Minnesota is considered a well-resourced state. I grew up in the South. There was no resources. It was even worse. But dump a few million and you could probably fix the problem. But it has to be a systemic change. You can't just throw money at housing and then think it's all going to be fixed. You have to fund the whole system.
Normally, we would expect, in I think a normal functioning society, for leaders to respond to public pressure. But instead, the Trump administration is going to send 1,000 more agents here to Minneapolis, despite the pain that it has inflicted and the movement that we are seeing not only here, but now across the country in solidarity with the Twin Cities. With this country right now murdering its own people, with this country decapitating other governments by kidnapping their head of state, does this country, do you still see it as a democracy?
I mean, to say it really has ever been is kind of a lie in and of itself. I think we're just only slowly seeing it getting worse day by day. And we're, rather than the slow creeping of gaining rights since the abolishment of slavery and obviously allowing not property-owning white men to vote or own anything, we're creeping backwards. And we're creeping backwards at a far faster rate than we've ever crept forward. And the amount of resistance that I see is just, it doesn't seem to be enough. And like, we shouldn't accept this. This should not be acceptable. I don't think, it doesn't matter really your political leaning. Everyone's fucking suffering right now. It really doesn't matter what your cultural beliefs on anything are. Everything is unaffordable. It's getting worse. Our economy is a gigantic stock bubble in AI that is just waiting to crash. Our government has no contingency plan except bailing them out again. Great. What the fuck are we going to do then? We're going to see the same thing happen again with the banking crisis and probably not do fucking shit about it. The Democrats will tell us to move on again. I'm tired of the same cycle. I'm just tired.
Lauren, we're going to bring you in here. So, do you feel like we still live in a functioning democracy?
I don't think we've ever lived in a functioning democracy. You can't live in a democracy when people are actively being oppressed. You can't live in a democracy when you have whole groups of people who do not have the ability to live comfortably in this country. You've actively been suppressed. No, we've never had a democracy. It's built on stolen land.
Thank you both for your time. Before I let you go, is there anything else you would want to add while you had the platform?
Protesting is not the end of it, and it cannot be the only thing that people do. You need to actually show up to trainings where you learn to protect your rights and the rights of your neighbors. And you need to show up and act as legal observers and toe the line between obstruction. You need to do it. Most of the people that agree with us already agree with us. There is no convincing these fucking pigs to work with us. That's not a thing. So do more than just showing up and complaining about it. Show up for your fucking neighbors and actually protect them.
100%. The only way we move through this is through community care. You can't show up here and then pretend it doesn't exist in your own neighborhood. You have to carry it forward. You need to be checking in on your neighbors. You should know your neighbors. Frankly, this is beautiful and important, and we need to be doing actions like this, but it has to accompany a bigger picture. Are you showing up when the cameras are gone and when the noise is over? That is what will change things.
Thank you both very much for your time. I really appreciate it. Thank you, guys. All right, 2 more voices from this crowd. Okay. So good. All right. And how do you want to be identified?
It's C-M. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. C-M-Jorisse. CM yours. Sorry, I know. It's a stage name. Let's be frank.
Stage name. We'll address why you're using a stage name in just a moment. And then Emily, can you say and spell your name, please?
Yep, Emily Phillips, EMILYPHILLIPS. My throat is pretty rough after a few days of yelling since the murder.
What's that?
A few days of yelling since the murder, so my throat is pretty rough.
Yeah, no, I think everybody's throat's going to be feeling that way after tonight. So I'm talking to you. We've interviewed Emily before. She is part of the networks of people here who keep Whipple Watch, who are going out to the Whipple building. It's a federal building where ICE is staging many of its operations and keeping an eye on those facilities, documenting what vehicles are coming and going as a way to notify communities here in the Twin Cities areas that ICE and immigration agents are going out on raids as a way to let those people know to be ready to document whatever atrocities might be committed, and also to potentially warn those communities so that vulnerable people can take shelter. But today, the Whipple building was the scene of another day of protests that was met with violent force by the Trump administration. I know because we were there. We got tear gas, we were flashbanged, pepper balls shot all around us, shot directly at many of the protesters for the crime of just standing in the wrong part of the street. You weren't allowed to exercise your First Amendment rights in certain parts of a public street, but you could in others. I give that long preamble to set Emily up because Emily was at that protest and you experienced something just a couple of hours ago. Can you walk people through what that was?
Yeah, for sure. So I apologize for my voice being pretty rough. I've been yelling pretty much since Renee was killed. So we were protesting on and off all day there today, and they closed down. They brought in barricades for the first time, cement barricades, and they placed them on our side of the street, which is supposed to be public property, and people use it to get to the metro. And then they placed barricades at one of their visitor gates, not their visitor gate, at their federal employee gate. And after that, while I was gone on break, they barricaded their main gate that they use, the ICE gate that we usually look at.
And when she says barricade, she means put up more of those concrete barriers and also put up...
At this one, at that one, they actually put up like steel barriers and they locked them with gun locks.
Oh, okay.
They said there's arms, it's because of arms.
And what kind of force were you met with at these protests?
Well, so I went back to what we call Gate 3. So that is over by the tennis lot, the entrance there. And that's what used to be the everybody entrance. But since the FBI closed it down a few days ago, it's just all ICE. So they can just do whatever they want. So they closed it down to only go through that gate. And me and Clint went back and we had our megaphones and we turned the sirens on them. And we walked across the street where we were, again, not standing on the curb or anything, but we were standing like in the street part. And I did walk a little bit into the driveway, but not past the public sidewalk, really. But sorry, I'm stammering for a second. All of a sudden, the officers all decided that they were going to come out, and I've been calling Officers Burkeen and Edens out by name because I at one point had a conversation with them about what would happen if their guns got turned on us. Like, what if they got that order and they laughed and thought it was impossible? And now one of us is dead, so I'm telling them to quit their jobs because they both acted like it was impossible, and now one of us is dead and they're protecting the murderer. So they didn't like that, so they personally rushed me and Clint.
Oh, they arrested you?
No, they personally rushed us, and they tried to. I'll send you the raw footage. But they did put my arms behind my back and tried to, but we both had our umbrellas. And Clint ran in and like tried to deflect them from like taking my umbrella because they were trying to take our umbrellas. And I was just like, give me my stuff and I'll go. Give me my stuff and I'll go. And they wouldn't give me they just wouldn't give me my umbrella. And so it ended up with us each tugging on it. And I took my megaphone and I hit my umbrella. I'd love to hit the cops, but that would be a federal charge. So I hit my umbrella, my own property. I hit my umbrella. And then we were far enough away that they couldn't really arrest us, and they just pepper sprayed both of us. And I had goggles on, but Clint did not. So he took it right to the face. So he can tell you a little bit more about that. But it was absolutely nuts. They didn't give us a boundary warning or anything. We've never had a boundary warning at this gate. Like, they've never told us, like, this is the line you cannot cross or you will be arrested or pepper sprayed. They've never done that at this gate. So for them to just rush us and try to take our stuff and almost detain both of us was insane.
Yeah. Casa? Casa. Casa. Thank you. Okay, that's what I was screwing up. So I'm standing here with Casa. Thank you very much for correcting me. Casa, I want to start with just the noisemaker of choice you brought along here with you. What'd you bring and why?
Well, it's a bazooka air horn. I was at the store and they said that this is really loud, so that's why I got it. Yeah.
And you wanted to make this noise to send a message. What's that message that you are sending here tonight?
I mean, that we don't want ICE in Minnesota, that we don't want it in Minneapolis and the Twin Cities, that we don't want organizations in the Twin Cities supporting ICE, housing ICE.
We've seen the Trump administration try to paint a picture that anyone who's resisting ICE right now or speaking out against the administration is somehow a rioter, is somehow enacting violence. I just got to address that right off the cuff. Do you see any rioters here tonight? Did you come with any intentions of being violent?
No. I think the vast majority of people here don't want it to be violent. We're peaceful protesters. Everything that I've been to has been peaceful. We're just trying to look out for our neighbors and take a stand. I mean, we're doing what we can. What else can we do?
When you saw the video of Renee Good being killed by an ICE agent, just your initial reaction, what were the feelings that came up inside you when you see someone from your community, someone who could be a neighbor, being harmed like that, being gunned down by the federal government with your tax dollars? What was going through your mind?
I mean, at first it was sort of numbness, I think. Probably a lot of people that way, where I don't think it really hit me till the day after. I mean, my first thought, which is sort of a selfish one, I guess, but was of like my friends that live in that neighborhood who live like blocks away from that, who have been active parts of Ice Watch teams out there. That could have been one of them.
We just today, the Trump administration, or not, I shouldn't say the Trump administration, but Alpha News released a new video, actually taken by the agent who fired the shots. First of all, have you seen that video? Yes. At the very end, after Agent Jonathan Ross fires and kills Renee Good, his first words are, and I apologize for the language, but they're fucking bitch. What's the message that you feel like is being sent there? What's the regard that you feel like ICE agents have for your community, your friends, and neighbors?
I mean, it's not a hard question to answer, but it's like, that's not a way that you speak to anyone with respect, whether they've committed a crime or not, whether they're here illegally or not, whether they're a U.S. citizen or not. I mean, it seems pretty clear using that language that they've not been trained. They don't have a protocol. They're just sort of going rogue and doing whatever they want and saying whatever they want. Who are they held accountable to? I don't know.
Today, we also heard that the state of Minnesota, from Attorney General Keith Ellison, that they are going to be launching their own investigation into the shooting, even though the FBI is going to withhold evidence from that local investigation. What's your hopes for what a truly independent investigation into the shooting, what it could achieve?
I don't know.
I guess a better question might be, like, what does justice to you look like? Well, what would you hope would be the outcome of a truly independent investigation?
Well, I would hope that ICE officer would be arrested. Obviously, that he wouldn't be an ICE agent anymore. That, I don't know. I don't know what exactly logistically come of an investigation like that, and out of like a positive outcome for the Twin Cities would obviously be that all ICE agents have to leave. I don't know if that's a realistic outcome of what would happen to this investigation or not. But I think that's what I would hope, and that's what everybody here would hope.
I think that's what probably a lot of people are feeling right now, or hoping for right now. When you look out at all of these people who have ostensibly come to say either the same thing or something very similar to the message that you came to deliver, what feelings are inside you to be surrounded by all these people standing up together and saying ICE out of Minnesota?
I mean, I think something that I've been feeling has just been the feeling of like there is some hope, and like Minnesota, the Twin Cities, Minneapolis specifically knows how to organize. We have these community networks already. People want to participate. It's like we've been set up for this from George Floyd and Black Lives Matter protests in 2020. And so it's I don't know. There's really a feeling of community, and like locally, just in Minneapolis as a whole, and then also locally within neighborhoods. I think there's a really strong feeling of like, I am a part of this. I can help out in my neighborhood, and I can help my neighbors.
You're out here with what was it called again? A bazooka air horn. You got a bazooka air horn that I'm going to assume cost you a few bucks, and a whistle. That's what you have to fight back against a federal government that has functionally limitless resources, billions upon billions of dollars, to continue to put pressure on Minnesota if it wants. Really what you have is your own spirit, your own drive to continue resistance, continue standing up. How long do you feel like you can continue to mount a resistance with this volume against the Trump administration?
How long do I think Minneapolis as a whole? I mean, I think as long as ICE is here, it's going to continue happening. I don't see a situation where ICE is still here and people don't.
Absolutely. The last piece that I want to end here is
Has spurred both protests and debates across the country. There are conflicting viewpoints and critiques over the woman's actions, as well as the officer's use of deadly force. Investigative reporter Bennett Haberly joins us now with a look at this new video. Bennett.
Yeah, Mary, and we're going to play this clip for you in its entirety, noting that we have bleeped out the audio for expletives that happened both during this encounter and after the ICE officer, Jonathan Ross, fires what turned out to be those deadly shots.
I'm not mad at you. Show your face. I'm not mad at you. It's okay. We don't change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen. You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the car. Get out of the car.
Oh!
The video shows how quickly this encounter escalated. There are roughly 3 seconds between when 37-year-old Renee Good is commanded to get out of her car and when she appears to move forward and shots are fired. White House officials, including Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem and Vice President J.D. Vance, have defended the officer's actions and criticized Good's behavior. But the shooting prompted demonstrations across the country, with protesters criticizing the use of deadly force by ICE. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and
so fucking mad right now. I can spare. I want to shoot motherfuckers. I just want to start shooting motherfuckers.
About that new footage that was released today by Alpha News that was apparently filmed by ICE agent Jonathan Ross during his murder of Renee Good in Minneapolis. Are we not at all a little bit suspicious about how that footage is seeing the light of day? So folks had sent me the clips like as soon as they dropped, and I didn't reshare it because I didn't know who Alpha News was. I just really quickly, searched them up. But I was like, this is not a credible source. I'm not seeing it from anywhere else except Alpha News. And in the age of AI generated everything, I was like, I'm not going to share this. Even just a quick search of Alpha News will show you that they're a right-wing rag. But in less than an hour after Alpha News dropped this footage, Midas Touch was resharing it, and it was immediately like all over Blue Sky, and very quickly was all over TikTok. TMZ and other outlets have now picked it up and reshared it. And I guess like no hate to Midas Touch. I wish there was more of an explanation about who the source is. And perhaps I speak for most of us who were watching this, and at first pass, we were like, this is just so much more damning. It was just absolutely heartbreaking to watch this footage, especially because Renee's last words were, "That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you." And after he murdered her, you can hear him on the recording saying, "Fucking bitch." I definitely want to talk about that more in the next video. But I think that really was what gripped us when we saw that footage. But like JD Vance has reshared this, lots of right-wing media is resharing this, and they think that this paints Ross in a good light. So I was like, what are we missing here? What's going on? So I spent some time reading a number of creators and analysts that I respect very much and their thoughts on this video. And I want to share with you here what I think are probably some of the most important things to consider when you watch this video. And then at the end, I will share the video itself. This is from John Choi. I think he pronounces his first name John, not June. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I followed him for a while, but okay. He says, probably the biggest mistake I'm seeing people make this week, especially the Trump administration, is not waiting for the facts. The release of footage alleged to be from the Minneapolis shooter's phone is one of the reasons why that's a mistake. Alpha News is a partisan trash news outlet. At a guess, whoever is handling Jonathan Ross right now had him release his cell phone video to the friendliest outlet that was also the least likely to confirm it. That is exactly what I thought when I first saw the footage this morning. It looks to have a few critical seconds missing or compressed. As professional journalists and videographers look at it today, I'm sure we'll find out more. I don't think it's inaccurate to presume that this release of this footage today is done in a way to minimize damage to Jonathan Ross and to ICE as much as possible. A healthy dose of skepticism about what we have viewed in that footage, I think, is appropriate. So even in the most favorable light they can show this video, though, it shows Good basically driving away from a verbal confrontation right before she gets shot, which contributes to the idea that this was intentional, ideological, and malicious on Ross's part. It shows that Good backed up to make a 3-point turn and was turning her car to drive down the street, not driving directly at Ross. If anything, it looks like Ross is crossing over the front of her car and initiating contact in order to have a self-defense pretext to shoot her. It shows that Ross can clearly see Good's hands on the wheel, moving the car away from him. He has plenty of time as the car is backing away to move away from its expected direction of travel after it makes that 3-point turn. It records someone, potentially Ross, muttering an expletive as he walks away, which looks even worse considering how ICE restricted medical professionals' access to Good after she was shot. Yeah, it was initially speculative, but it's now been confirmed that ICE blocked medical professionals from administering aid after the shooting. Although a critical segment seems to be missing, right? The second and third shots are missing. It does appear to confirm the New York Times video analysis from yesterday that pointed out that the car's wheels were pointing away from Ross. Even if he couldn't see the front wheels to infer that the car was going to move away from him, by the time he shot Good, he'd seen her turn the wheel. That would establish that he knew he wasn't in danger, but he killed her anyway. Right? Like this is footage that was intentionally released by Ross and his handlers, and it clearly shows that that Renee was not trying to run him over. Troy goes on to say, I don't know if it meets the legal definition of murder, but what I'm seeing looks increasingly like an intentional and unjustified act of killing by a right-wing extremist in uniform who got so butthurt after he lost an argument that he contrived to kill the person he was arguing with. This is why you don't put extremists in uniform, even if you think they're conveniently aligned with you. It's not an ideological issue. It's about force readiness, and ultimately, it's a quality issue. Hire enough extremists and it becomes inevitable that you'll end up with, pardon me, buddy fucker, blue falcon shitbirds like Ross, who apparently think they can murder others for disagreeing with them and screw up everyone's nice, cushy ICE jobs because he couldn't keep his guns tight. People like him don't just bring down their own careers. That's not how blue falcons work. They fuck up entire units and bring down everyone around them. And in the end, standing there in the wreckage when it's all done, ultimately, people like Noam and Bavino don't have anyone to blame but themselves. And I've said this before, this is the function of a kakistocracy, right? Unqualified, incompetent, incapable people are put in charge. You take out of control men who cannot regulate their emotions and you give them firearms and put them in our cities and say, have at them. You're going to see Americans being murdered more and more. I do wonder what we're missing in this carefully crafted, released footage. What are we missing? How much worse is it actually? Because again, this is what Ross and his folks, ICE, whoever, his handlers, chose to release to the press. It's definitely edited. We don't see the second and third shots. It's definitely not the full story. And even the partial story is incredibly damning. So I'm going to show that footage for you here. Again, I'll watch with caution. It's really upsetting.
Every morning, just so you know, it'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen, former. You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the fucking car.
That is what is happening here is a 50-50 position. I hope it comes across through the camera. The power of this collective group of voices are expressing right now the energy that is in the air. And not only do we try and center the voices of people and people-powered movements here at Status Quo, we don't take corporate funding. None. We are sustained thanks to individual donations. It's individual people giving us a few dollars here, a few dollars there, $5 a month to sustain the efforts that our small but mighty team is able to do here at Status Quo. And I would put our journalism up against any other outlet with what we were able to do with that people-built power.
Northern Lights woman.
Northern Lights woman? Can I say that? Yeah. Brendan, I'm sure butcher the pronunciation. My name's JT. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
All right. I am standing here with Northern Lights woman. Can I get you to say that? How you originally introduced yourself to me?
Wanahi tawa chipuli hemiye.
And I'm going to assume that you are indigenous.
Yeah.
What tribe or nation are you from?
I'm Northern Cheyenne and Oglala Lakota.
Why did you want to be here tonight?
To tell everyone, including the state of Minnesota and the United States, that this is Indian land. This is Dakota Makoche. That's what my sign says, De Dakota Makoche, which means this is Dakota land.
And I don't think it takes a genius to figure out why that would be relevant to a protest about immigration and everything that's happening in this country right now. But spell it out for me. Why was it important for you to come out here and deliver this message that this is Dakota land?
Because the United States has come over here and they've forcibly waged war on indigenous people since 1492. And so we've been out here for the past 500 plus years fighting the United States. On my other side, I wrote Custer Killers. 6/25/1876. The United Tribes of the Northern Cheyenne, the Oglala Lakota, and the Northern Arapaho defeated the United States in battle at the Battle of Greasy Grass. It was Cheyenne women that drove awls into Custer's ears because he refused to listen. He refused to respect indigenous people. So we come as a warning to all politicians, to all representatives of the United States. What happens when you don't listen to indigenous women, to Cheyenne women? We will drive awls into your ears until you listen. From beyond the grave into the spirit world. Listen to what we're saying. Dear Dakota Makoche, this is always will be Dakota land. The state of Minnesota came onto indigenous land and provoked itself and waged war against us. We see it happen with the Line 3 pipeline. We see it happen now with the separation of families. This is a continuation of the genocide of indigenous people. That this is a direct correlation of what the United States is and has always represented.
The protest is moving on, so would you be comfortable talking and walking here so we can keep up here? So, I mean, I'm certainly feeling the passion, feeling the emotion coming off of you, but can you describe for people when the emotion, the passion that you are feeling, what's going through your mind, what's going through your heart in this moment as you're watching what's been playing out in this country for centuries and still playing out today?
I think of the next 7 generations. I think of my babies. I think of my nieces and nephews, my future grandchildren, because this is the land. This is what they're going to inherit. So it is my inherent responsibility. This is my spiritual responsibility to be out here standing with my relatives, for those who have to stay home, for those who can't be out here, to be able to speak. We have to be able to use our intellect, our minds, our voices, our prayers to be able to stand with one another. Because separation is what they want, so unity is what we will give them.
I have asked a lot of people in this crowd tonight what justice looks like in the wake of Renee Good's killing. And I have had to acknowledge that I don't think that there's probably any way you make a community whole for the death of even a single person, let alone adding on 500 years of genocide on top of that. But what would justice look like here in this country, to your mind? What needs to happen to even begin to make this country, to make the people here whole?
Land back. Following indigenous leadership and stewardship, indigenous people hold almost 80% of the world's biodiversity. And that alone should attest to our connection to the land, our connection to preserving it, to making sure that our children inherit something well, inherit something good. And that includes the relationships that we hold with one another as people who occupy this land, as people who inherited it ourselves. It is our spiritual responsibility to one another to listen and to show up and to respect each other's existence. That Renee Good was someone who came out to support in the same way that we are. And we cannot let that fear separate us. We cannot let that fear stop us into coming out, into supporting one another. Because she is just one voice that falls under thousands and thousands of other names, of other spirits, of other peoples, of other families that have been affected by not only this, but the 500 years plus years of resistance, of violence that we have occurred. So this is just a continuation on.
Just a continuation. What does I mean, how do you even follow that? I mean, when you start to talk, thank you guys. When you saw what happened to Renee Good, just your initial reactions, what were you feeling? What were you thinking?
I was praying for her family. I was thinking of her partner. I was thinking of her children. I was thinking of all her relatives who will be affected, of not only her name, but all of the other martyrs that have lost their lives because of this violence. So like I said, I honor who she was. I honor her family and her children, especially because they're going to live with the effects of what that officer did, of what that ICE agent did by taking her life in broad day in a community, in a residential area, a block away from a high school. I mean, like, to see how close that this violence is to our children and what's affecting them, we think about them in these times.
And the response that you've seen from the Trump administration saying that they were only going to ramp up their operations here, send 1,000 more agents to follow up on the already cruel policies that they are carrying out here in the Twin Cities and in Minnesota. What do you think the message that the federal government is attempting to send to the people that it is trying to govern here?
The same message that it's continued on since its inception was force is violence and of taking. So it's just continuing on its legacy of lies, of stealing. I mean, theft. I mean, it's in the legacy of what the United States is and has always been. So I think they're upholding very well of what the United States was intended to do.
Northern Lights woman, we covered a lot here in just a few minutes that we've been talking. We've covered 500 years of history. Is there anything else that you would want to add while you had this platform?
Yes. I urge each and every person who's listening to me, who's out here watching, to educate yourself, educate your families, to have those hard conversations, to tap into your inner human emotion of connection, of empathy, to see what's happening and to take action. I urge each and every one of you to learn about the doctrine of discovery and the papal bulls that gave life to it. It is the core foundation of not only the United States, but international law as a whole, that indigenous people in the United States simply only hold occupancy. And so under these doctrines that were decrees put on by the Catholic Church in the 14 and 1500s, which established what colonization is around the world. And so I urge each and every one of you to learn about it, to talk about it, and to educate yourself and your future generations, because it's truly that what it's going to take, thinking about the children and educating ourselves and teaching them accordingly. So I say, Wopi Latanka, Ichichie for each and every one of you for listening. And I urge you all to stand up and fight back.
Thank you very much, Northern Lights woman. I appreciate it.
Man had a rattlesnake sitting in a corner.
A rattlesnake?
Could pick it up, pet it. He saw it.
You saw what?
The demon. He saw the demon.
The demon? What demon?
Everybody got the demon in here, okay? The demon lives in here. It feeds on your hate, cuts, kills, rapes. It uses your weakness, your fear. Only the vicious survive in here. We all told we're no good piece of shit from the time we could breathe.
Got that
After
right.
a while, you kind of become bad. But, you know, after the Indian, we were going to quit killing. The old man took it out of us.
What happened?
Well, it was all just a mistake, you know. Man was trying to help us, you know, pet us. Same dream I've had since I was a kid, I guess. I just running with the animals in the darkness. Mr. Rabbit, bloody fangs, Christmas hat, little madness going on. I don't know, we're just running, and I'm Mr. Rabbit. I'm eating every other animal in the forest. Death kind of becomes what you are. After a while, you begin to like it. You know about realization, Wayne? I mean, you know, all this is just illusion. Mr. Rabbit says, moment of realization is worth 1,000 prayers.
You're crazy, man.
Wayne, I don't think I'm any crazier than you are. I'm extremes, dark and light. You know that. I'm light with mild. That's your shadow on the wall, you know? You can't get rid of your shadow, can you, Wayne?
I'm an agent of chaos. Oh, and you know the thing about chaos? It's beer. What? Yo, see, there's a motto here. Your job is just to piss them off, get them talking, arguing, and getting all their friends involved. Y'all can take it how you want it, getting gay and mad. It's all about ideas, and the good always outweigh the bad. Raise the flag, homie, take some fucking pride in that. We hate this fucking government, and ain't nobody hide that fact. It's a symbol of the freedom that they taking from your patriots, accustomed to the darkness they've been fading unto. From Lima to Cleveland, back to Toledo, these jokers, Heath Ledgers, you faggots is Jared Leto. Me amigos, all Devos, shoulders got Doritos, hot Cheetos, Fritos, and those big ass bags of Tostitos. It's a party, y'all. Don't mind a little argument. We're all adults, it ain't no reputation tarnishing. Hypnotizing bitches like the slow jam bad. It's safety for no man, it's no man's land. We ain't dealing with your bullshit. Operator hop out in a full kit. Got them things that go bang, ain't never out of range. Y'all should probably let me do my thing. Hot dang, yeah. We ain't really dealing with your bullshit. Operator hop out in a full kit. Got them things that go bang, ain't never out of range. Y'all should probably let me do my thing. Hot dang.